I think, like, kind of how you mentioned earlier, just finding the rhythm, finding the confidence in the game. Shooting 25 shots in a row in practice is different than getting your 4 looks in a game and not being able to knock them down and having the confidence to continue shooting them. So I think just getting the opportunity in that second half of the season and seeing them go in, and then continuing to get those open looks really just fed that confidence and that hot streak towards the end. I mean, the numbers support it. We obviously know it is a truism, but even last year, where the numbers were not where you wanted them to be, when you play 10 to 19 minutes, you shot 11% from 3. When you play 20 to 29, it was 22%. You play north of 30 minutes, you were 33%. You were finding it as you went. And then, obviously, you've elevated all of those levels in the process. Was there a moment that, when you're talking to your close-to sides early on where you're being told, I am going to get more of this playing time, more of this opportunity? And does that help feed your confidence as well? The 2024 season started as a living nightmare for the Indiana Fever. Lexie Hull sits back in her chair, takes a deep breath, and shares what really happened during those brutal first weeks. 11 games in 20 days. It sounds crazy even saying it now, she admits, shaking her head. This wasn't just any schedule. It was the most demanding stretch the WNBA had seen since 2003. I mean, honestly, I can't really pinpoint a moment. It was, I think, just I was given a chance in the game, and I hit a couple of early ones, and then you get a couple more minutes, and you hit another one, and you get a couple more minutes. So, it wasn't ever like, I was told you're going to be playing today. Make sure you take advantage of it. It was just, when you're sitting on that bench, and you don't know when your number is going to be called, and when it finally is called, just trying to take advantage of it. And I was just happy that the ball went in. We get back to the hotel at 2 a.m. after a game. And guess what? We had another game the next night, Hull reveals. The team was running on empty, barely having time to review game footage, let alone practice. The physical toll was visible. Ice packs, training room visits, and exhausted faces became the norm in the Fever locker room. But the mental strain? That was even worse. Hull's voice gets quieter as she remembers those dark days. You start doubting everything. Your shots aren't falling. Your legs feel heavy, and you're watching the losses pile up. It messes with your head. The team's record quickly nosedived to 2-11, a start that had fans and media questioning if the Fever would ever turn things around. Do you know what you shot from 3? You shot 66.7% from 3. You went out there. There's no such thing as tired legs in that scenario. You're sinking. No one does that. No one. I mean, it's just incredible. The pressure was crushing. Every missed shot felt like a personal failure. Every loss added another layer of doubt. Hull remembers sitting alone in the gym one night after a particularly tough loss. I was shooting by myself, just trying to find my rhythm again. My three-point percentage had dropped to 11%, and I couldn't figure out why. In college, at Stanford, I was known for my shooting. Now, I couldn't buy a bucket. Coach Christie Sides saw her team crumbling. Behind closed doors, she called a team meeting that would change everything. Hull leans forward, her eyes lighting up as she shares this never-before-told story. Coach Sides didn't yell. She didn't give us some movie-style speech. Instead, she did something none of us expected. She listened. For 3 hours, players opened up about their struggles. Veterans shared their own experiences of tough seasons. Rookies admitted their fears of not being good enough. It was like this weight lifted off our shoulders, Hull says. We realized we weren't alone in this. The next day, something shifted. The team started practicing differently. Instead of focusing on what was going wrong, they celebrated small victories. A good defensive stop. A perfect pass. A teammate picking someone up after a mistake. Coach Sides told us to stop looking at the scoreboard and start looking at each other, Hull explains. When did you know that it was finally going to click for you? I mean, you hit 4 threes early on in the year on May 25th against Las Vegas. There were signs early on that you were finding this before you even were starting. Was there a moment where it felt like this was finally happening? And again, was there any sort of off-season change? Was there anything that you were doing differently that helped this happen? Or did the ball just start going through the hoop for you? May 25th, 2024. The game that changed everything. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe my channel.